Hello, I hope you're doing great. Today, I want to show you a small project that you a small example project to using Azure Functions and Azure Durable Functions. Um, this is a project that the customer requested. Basically, a customer requested a small prototype of using microservices or an implementation of microservices and have the sample using um, separated um, artifacts. So you will see that some part of the project is using Azure Functions, while other parts of the projects are actually using APIs, and one of the APIs is actually a .NET Core API configured to be hosted in Docker. Um, to be honest, if it was me for this kind of small projects, I will I would only use Azure Functions because that actually makes the maintenance a little bit faster. So, for example, if it was me and if I was going to be the only one maintaining the code and maintaining the production environment, uh, then I will probably choose for this kind of small projects to have as few components as possible in my architecture, because that actually allows me to have a better management of the resources, a much better management of the cost that I will incur when using these services. So I will pretty much develop everything in Azure Functions hosted in an APP service. But this was a sample for a customer, so this implemented that way. So basically now you will see that in the solution we have a couple of projects. We have the automated test project, we have some configuration project, we have services project, the API, and the Azure Functions um, project. The Azure Functions is where you have all of the logic. By the way, before continuing, please help me by subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell, and sharing the channel and videos so I get more subscribers in the channel and I can keep making more videos for YouTube. Okay, so here we have some implementations. We have the get geolocation, we have the get sitemaps info, and the get weather. Basically, the functionality of this prototype was the customer wanted this prototype to be able to analyze IP addresses and domains. So you will see that we use IP stack to get the geolocation for a specific IP address. We use Azure Maps to get the geolocation, to get the current weather for a geolocation retrieved from the IP stack service, which uses the IP stack API. And I also added some logic to be able to retrieve these sitemap links from given URLs by scanning for the robots.txt file in the given website. So here you will see that in the startup is basically a little bit modified to be able to support user secrets and the app.json file. And here we have just the usual configuration that you have in .NET Core, and to inject the services and their respective configuration so you can use them as injected parameters in your main classes. In the get geolocation, that's basically a normal class, a normal function, and one of the difference or something that I did here is actually I removed the support for post, so you can only invoke this function by using get. we get the IP address requested, we try to parse it. If we succeed parsing it, we know that this is an IP address, and if this is a valid IP address, we proceed to get the geolocation, and if we get everything, if everything succeeds, we return the geolocation. Otherwise, we just return invalid IP address in this case. To get weather, you will see that this actually receives, it removed the get support, the post support too, and only uses get. We receive the weather service, and the weather service gets the current weather, and you will see in that service that this actually uses another service, which is the Azure Maps service, which is what we are using to get the current weather information. And if everything succeeds, we just return the data. This is something I just didn't delete. I forgot to delete the test, from the template, the code from the template. Now we have this get sitemaps info function, and you will see that this is a little bit different. This is actually a durable function. So you will see 3 methods in here. For those who do not know, the Azure durable functions basically allow you to implement long-running operations. So if you are going to invoke operations that will result in a long time of processing, you don't want to have your invoker or your client application waiting for the process to give you an answer. So basically what you do in those cases usually is you invoke an API endpoint which returns you basically a unique ID and usually a link that you will have to be used constantly on invoke every given certain seconds, minutes, you decide the interval. That is basically a status for the operation that you requested. You usually pass it the ID actually. So you invoke it like every 30 seconds, every 1 minute, that depends on you. And that will give you the operation status. So you will see if it failed, if it's still running, if it was already completed, and then depending on the actual implementation of your endpoints, in that same status operation you will get the results too once the operation is completed, or you may get a link, or you may already have it, or you may need to invoke another link to get the results. The Azure Durable Functions basically does all that for you. That handling of the unique ID, the actual links to the Azure Durable Functions create all that automatically for you, and the only thing that you need to do is call the start function and get the status every certain amount of time, and that same status operation is the one which is going to give you the results when the task is completed. Okay, so you will see that here we actually read as a sync, we convert it to a get sitemaps info model, and this is a model which actually is set to support a list of URLs. So this function actually is thought to support a list of URLs and return each URL along with the sitemap font for each of those. So the more URLs that you input when you call the start function, will probably result in more time consumed in the operation. And that's actually the reason why this operation was set as a durable function and not as a normal function. Okay, and yeah, we have the orchestrator. The orchestrator basically is the function which will call all of the activities or other functions in case you have other functions. Yeah, basically it's the orchestrator, how you separate the calls and how you integrate the results of those calls in a main result. Okay, this is just the process, basically the core body of the actual functionality what you are requesting. So you will see that in here in this orchestrator, basically what I'm doing is iterating through all of the requested URLs, and I call the actual process for each of those. We add it to a list. This is a list of the get sitemaps result model, and then I return it. So that's an example of how of using Azure Functions and Azure Durable Functions. I hope this has been useful for you. And remember, let us know in the comments things that you would like to learn about .NET Core, Azure, Blazor, and Unity 3d. Have a great day.